What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? What's shaking? Welcome to Johnathan Soul's podcast. This is Johnathan Soul speaking with you now. I got the honor and privilege of talking to a tremendous talent. Not only is he a groovy writer, artist, and comic book creator, but I'm finding out that he's also a comic. I'm talking none other than Ted Lange. Did I pronounce that right, brother?
That is correct, sir. That is
Man,
right,
you know how long I've been practicing in the mirror on that joint?
I was like, how do you say that phonetically? I was like trying to spell it out. I was like, dang, how would I? Okay, right
man,
there.
you was like, the K is silent, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Right. So we were just talking off mic and everything, and you were telling me that you were like a writer for sketch comedy. Can you talk about that? Is that hard to do?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of energy, I think. Like, it's a lot of, but it's really, I found it really, like, rewarding. There's a thing, and when you're doing sketch comedy that's different from comics, where, like, you know immediately if what you're writing works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want a scene to be funny and you've written some jokes in it, like, you put it up in front of an audience, like, like, within, a couple minutes whether or not it works. Like, when you're doing comics, it's, like, so solitary, and, like, you can't, like, sit and watch somebody read it and then ask them, like, if it works. You know what I mean? But
your first audience is you. So when you write this stuff, I mean, are you cracking up at the time? I mean, you think, oh, that's cute. How do you react to your own work?
Sometimes, like, I've definitely read some stuff and been like, I gotta let it sit, because it's like with comics, it's like the thing that's different from comics and sketch comedy is, like, sketch comedy, you write it, you give it to an actor, and then you're done.
Right.
You're basically done. Like, with comics, it's like you write it, you are planning it out, you thumbnail it out, you're drawing it out, like, you're designing the costumes, you do, like, the facial gestures. Mm-hmm. It's a longer process, I think. So you sit with it more. So after a while, you're kind of like, it kind of gets abstract. It's like, is that working?
Yeah.
Is that? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's two different, it's just two different ways of going about the same thing. It's two different ways of telling the story.
Is it two different sides of your brain?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Like, when I'm writing sketch comedy, it's different from when I'm writing comics, because, like, when I'm writing comics, I'm writing it visually.
Okay.
So I'll have an idea, and then I'll thumb it out visually, and then the dialogue will change depending on the characters.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's almost like they're like the characters on the page are like the actors, and they're like,
mm-hmm.
they're like, let me say the line this way, let me say this instead of that, so it's a different kind of a thing, I think.
When a book is good, when you're pissed off that it takes so long to get the second copy out. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Or you're pissed off that the book is shorter than you wanted it to be. And so I was pissed off at you, man, behind the fact that the book wasn't long enough, and number 2 took too long to come out. So it's a damn good book. Now,
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, very kind.
For the 1 or 2 people out there who are not familiar with the comic we're referring to, which is Warp Zone by Ted Lange, the 4th?
4th, that's right. That's
okay,
correct.
Ted Lange the 4th. Can you describe the characters, a little bit of the plot? What makes this comic interesting?
Okay, basically, so Warp Zone is about 3 characters. There's Mungo, who is just a regular guy from Earth who, like, happened to fall into a warp zone by accident,
right.
And he got sort of far flung to the far side of the cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
After falling through a warp zone, he met Jack Elsewhere, who is the guy that knows where all the warp zones are. He knows how to sort of get around the cosmos if you don't have a spaceship. Like, he's the guy to talk to.
Okay.
Because spaceships are expensive, not everybody knows how to fly them. Not everybody likes space travel. There's, like, relativistic paradoxes that sort of come into play,
Right.
It's easier to get around with warp zones, but they're harder to find. So Jack Elsewhere is the guy to talk to.
Okay.
And then there's Penelope Rockmore, who is one of the old school homies, one of Jack's old school homies, and she is this character who can manipulate light on multiple wavelengths, and Mungo may or may not have a crush on her. So that's those. That's the setup, and they're basically, when you come in on the story, they've kind of been hanging out for a while. They've been friends for a while. Mungo is he's kind of done with their adventures. He kind of wants to just chill out and relax, and he wants to try and figure out how to get back to Earth. But Jack Elsewhere's got other plans. There's basically a bunch of their treasures that they've sort of accumulated over the years have been stolen by a rogue treasure cat, and they've got a small window of time in order to get their shit back, basically.
Right. And that's what we pick up in chapter 2, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
There's a little bit of setup. Chapter 1 is kind of like an introduction.
Of course.
So there's a little bit of that setup in chapter 1, but a lot of that is sort of in chapter 2.
The thing that's so groovy, one of the aspects that's so groovy about the book is your character design.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. It's just the brother in the hoodie. You know what I mean? You know, in the jeans and the sneaks and everything.
Yeah.
Zipping through, and then the Jack Elsewhere guy. He don't look like a burnout, but he just looks like that guy. You know what I mean? Who?
He's that dude.
He's that dude.
Yeah.
Everybody had somebody in high school and college. You know what I mean? He knew where to find stuff. And, and then the cute roundaway girl, you understand? You know what I mean? That you may or may not have had a crush on. You know what I mean? But she happens to be purple, I think.
She got that purple magenta skin tone going on.
In the summertime, she gets a little purple. So
exactly.
And so that's why I dig the book. It's just very comfortable. And then of course I'm projecting Douglas Adams. I'm Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm projecting what is it? The Looking Glass on there.
Big time.
The offbeat randomness of maybe like a Doctor Who type vibration.
Totally. All that stuff.
That's what I'm projecting. Is that in there anywhere, or am I?
All that stuff is in the DNA of this. I love Douglas Adams. Hitchhiker's Guide is one of my favorite book series of all time.
Incredible writer.
Doctor Who, and even in Doctor Who, and there's a natural connection there because Douglas Adams did some of the original Tom Baker episodes. So there's that.
Are you serious?
The Key to Time series. Check. I don't know if he did all of those.
I gotta peep that because Tom Baker's my favorite Doctor.
Ooh, dude, I'm gonna say when in the Day of the Doctor special. When not a spoiler alert, I guess.
Go ahead.
To anybody who hasn't seen it, it's been a couple years. But when Tom Baker showed up in the cameo, I stood up in my living room.
Salute!
I was like, what? Yes.
That's cool.
Cool.
Now, what actor behind him you think came the closest to his kind of crazy, been off his meds for a little while kind of style?
Wait, as far as Doctor Who?
In terms of the way Tom Baker portrayed him, after him, is there anybody that came close to his kind of,
it's like this as far as doctors go. My favorites, Tom Baker is the ultimate, right? You can't top Tom Baker, but Tennant.
That's it, David Tennant.
Tennant is my OG.
Yep.
I like Capaldi too because I like his cranky mad scientist shit.
Right.
I like that. I think he's cool, but Tennant is that's my dude.
Tennant came the closest, and I like when he had a little chocolate sister with
Martha?
him for a minute. Yeah, man.
He's kicking it with Martha. What's up?
Yeah, man. For a minute, and even And Tennant just as an actor, if you get a chance, check out his Hamlet.
Oh, I've never seen that before. I bet it must be
dope.
amazing.
He's doing the same shtick. I mean, I think that's just the style, but it fits because Hamlet, after the death of his father, I guess he a little off anyway.
Oh, so, totally.
Yeah, so Tennant's portrayal, and then I think Patrick Stewart is in there too.
Oh shit!
He's playing the father. Yes, it's gangster.
Oh, I gotta see that. I gotta see Tennant and Patrick Stewart. That's like Captain Picard and the Doctor meeting. That's I would pay money to see that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I found it on YouTube. It's probably still there. The William Shakespeare Theater does some wild stuff like that. They even had like an African version of Julius Caesar.
Oh, no shit.
Which was
cool.
at mad. I hate to keep gangster is my all-encompassing term, but I mean, when Mark Anthony was delivering his speech, and then they had the African guys playing the drums, and somebody came up behind him and poured libations. That was like a nice touch. You know what I mean? So every now and then, I don't know how I got on the top, but some of that, I'll send you some links in Twitter, but that's some gangster shit right there.
Definitely. That sounds cool.
So how did you arrive at this set of characters?
I've been drawing comics since high school. Okay. And I got to a point after, like around college, after college, I was like, you know what? Like, they were like superheroes at first, you know, because I'm a Marvel DC guy, you know, like I'm a superhero head. Yeah. But like, I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't want to try and compete with Marvel and DC because it's like, it's not going to happen. Like, it's like they got the shit locked down. Right. You know what I mean? And there's a certain point where I feel like I love superhero comics, but like it's gonna be, you know, there's enough out there. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me switch it up. Let me just rock this sci-fi like Afrofuturism angle, because especially with Afrofuturism, like it hasn't been done that often in comics. Like it's been done in music, it's been done in literature, you know, Octavia Butler and all that stuff. But like there aren't a lot of comics that have done it, you know. Right. So I'm like, there's room right there. Let me sort of pattern some characters, and that actually opens it up, because then you can kind of mythologize all these things about Black culture that, like, you know, don't necessarily get play in like superhero books. Like I'm like, I can like take these sort of P-Funk ideas and sort of mythologies and sort of run with that. I can take, you know, like I got some ideas about like Miles Davis, and I don't know. I got a lot of ideas like I want to implement, and you know, and like you say, it's like I get frustrated too because I'm only on issue 2.
Well, we're frustrated because there's a sense of anticipation. That's all. Yeah,
and I'm like world building too, so it's a lot. And I only have 24 pages in which to build this world and move the story forward. So there's a lot, you know. 3 is going to be all action. Like I'm almost done with 3. It's all action.
Fantastic.
But yeah, like there's a lot of elements, you know, along with the Doctor Who and Hitchhiker's Guide and all that kind of stuff. There's like these sort of elements of Black culture that I want to I want to imbue it. I want it to be a part of it as well, because I think it's something that's just not, you know, we don't get to see it as much. You know, I think
you're exploring that element of Black culture that I just mentioned at the I don't know if we said it off mic, but you know, not everybody follows that kind of pop, you know, Black culture kind of vibration, and this is handling that, you know, the kind of the cats who you know who know about Doctor Who give a fuck about, you know, science, tech, you know, philosophy, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's people who, you know, read books, you know, not just magazines, or do you have magazines anymore?
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean. It's like, here's one of the things. I used to live in New York for a while, right?
Right.
Like, there's one day, like after work, I made my stop. You know, I go to Forbidden Planet in Union Square. You know, get my books. And one day, I got my books. I'm on the C train or whatever, A train. It's rush hour. It's all packed up. I'm sitting reading like Justice League, and it's like 5 or 6 brothers like behind me. We were all reading it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like they were like, and we were like I'd like turn the page, and everybody at the same time was like, oh shit! Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. So I'm like, it's like clearly like, you know, this like Black people starve for entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, and we're all in the same vibe. Like I'm like I know there's an audience for like that kind of stuff. Like, you know, after a while, it's like, and I feel like it gets apparent with like Marvel and DC stuff. Like when you see it in the movies, and it's like, dang, a lot of these fools are blonde.
Right, exactly.
You know, like, it's like, dang, like all these fools are blonde. What's up? Like, you know, it you don't really, you kind of like give it a pass in the comics. It's like whatever, but like when you see it in real life, it's kind of like it makes it like the whole stuff.
Yeah.
Where's our shit at, you know? So,
yeah. And the thing that's crazy is, I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you. You know, just to kind of connect with what you're talking about with the reading the comic on the train. A few years back, I'm on the train. It's a black boy. When I say boy, I mean like elementary school.
Okay.
A black boy, a Spanish boy, and a white boy. And the white boy is saying, did you know that Ronald Reagan is the devil? 6 letters in his name. R-E, he's spelling it out. And that's, that was the night after the Boondocks came on.
Oh,
that was the opening thing in Riley's Huey's speech. So, and I was talking to. So basically, what I'm saying is, we saw DC and Marvel doing that, but our stuff does that too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of it getting out there. So that's why I'm kind of excited about this. There's something that's nagging me though, because when I look at the way you draw, it reminds me of those comics that I couldn't get when I was a little kid. You know what I mean? Back in the day, the ones that my older uncles got. And I'm trying to remember, the Fritz the Cat guy. And what's the other guy?
Crumb.
Crumb.
Zap Comics.
Yeah, man.
I'm an underground. I like that. Like, I mean, some of it. You know what I mean? Like, some of it gets a little intense. Of course. I like the thing that I like about Crumb and the Zap dudes is that their comics were all about like expression.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When and then sometimes it's like they're working some heavy duty shit out, so it gets to be like it's hard to enjoy.
A different cultural kind of perspective, but I'm talking in terms of style.
I like that. It's like it's not like John Buscema or John Romita. You know what I mean? It's like they're just drawing. They're just drawing stuff, and that's a big. Like I like Jim Woodring. I like Hernandez brothers. You know what I mean? Like these. Like styles that aren't like in the like there's not just one way to draw comics, you know. It's not there's and truly like comics are a form of expression. I feel like as an art form, you know what I mean? Like it's just a different way. It's not a painting on a canvas. It's like a series of pictures and words on a page, and you can use that. It's like Chris Ware, like the Acme Novelty shit. Like he's doing some crazy shit. It's not just about the drawing, it's the design, you know what I mean? It's the way, it's which way are you reading it on the page, you know what I mean? Like it's like a board game or something, or like you're going, it's circular panels, it's so I think comics in general is a very it's a medium that is very open for expression and the way you can sort of express yourself,
Okay, all right. So, and let's just say 5 years. I asked everybody this question. 5 years. What do you want to see done with this property?
This, hopefully, I'll be a few volumes. I'll have a few volumes out there. I would love to see this as a TV show. To be honest, like a Star Trek, Doctor Who kind of situation. I've got some ideas. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Of course,
still on volume 1, but the volume 1 should be out over this. Will be summer of 2017.
Okay.
But like I would ultimately, I think this would be a pretty solid TV show.
Me as a fan, and this is me projecting all my stuff onto you. Me as a fan. Yeah, me as a fan, I would love to be able to be on a train. I said, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I will edit that in post-production. Me as a fan, I'm projecting onto this 5-year thing, and I'm on the train, and I'm watching your episodes on my phone or on my iPad or whatever tablet they have. You know what I mean? This is a web kind of vibration. I'm seeing people from around the planet checking this out. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
With the technical cost of production coming down and the quality of the fan films that I see online, I mean, I could easily see, this thing being translated into a series. you know, kind
Oh
of thing.
yeah. I mean, I think the way I think about it is like the world that I'm trying to make, like I lived in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn for a while, so like that's the world. You know what I mean? Like you walk outside and it's that, but like instead of just humans, you would see everything. You know, like people in crazy like makeup. You'd have like robots. You'd have other things. You know, sort of Star Trek-y kind of things. But the setting is very, the location is very real. It's very everyday.
This is really cool. Listen, man, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Where can people buy your book, and how can they reach out to you on social media?
Okay, so you can purchase the book right now on peepgamecomics.com. That's comics with the IX. You can also purchase it on comixology.com. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Lange IV, TLANGE, and then the number 4. I'm also on Tumblr at hellotedward.tumblr.com.
Cool. And where can we get the print?
If you find Rosarium at any cons, they're going to be at the Schaumburg in January. They're going to be around. You can get the first issue in print. Otherwise, you have to wait for the graphic novel, which will be summer 2017.
Solid. Right on. Listen, Mr. Ted Lange, thank you for your time, brother. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Soul.
Right on, brother. Yo, family, that's what an interview is supposed to sound like. Okay? Where you learn something about the interviewee that you didn't know before, and you sense the appreciation that the interviewer has for the work. That it's a cipher that you can deal with. Listen, family, this is your humble host, Johnathan Soul, host of the best podcast in the universe. If you enjoyed this interview, go ahead over and support it by going to Amazon.com and purchasing my sci-fi book, Malcolm Mars. Ebook, 200 pages, $3. 3 brothers that take their families to Mars in a homemade starship. If you enjoy this podcast, go ahead and support it. Share it on Twitter, on Facebook, and Tumblr. You can find me on Twitter, JOHNATHANSEUL on Twitter. Same thing on Tumblr, same thing on SoundCloud. Love you guys. Hope all your dreams come true. Till next time. Peace.